Well, I'm back here to do another video game review. This is one that we had done quite a while back, and it was Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 was actually the first one I had ever played in the series of the Mega Man games. It is one of my favorite. It's not my favorite. My favorite will be the next one that I will talk about, which is Mega Man 3. But it does fall within the second, probably the second favorite of the series for me. And some differences from number two. It doesn't have a scoring system like number one had, and number two is just you have 8 robot masters instead of 6, and of course the Wily Castle is back this next time. Um, Only this time there's a map for it instead of just going through stages. There's a lot of really kind of different glitches that you can use in this game. For instance, one of them is on Airman. If you have, I believe it's item number 1, and you use it to jump like crisscross pattern all the way up the screen to the top of the screen, you don't have to fight Airman. I don't really use most of these glitches because most of them, I just don't. I don't think the game is necessarily so difficult that you have to use these glitches. Um, but if you see glitches online and you want to use them, go ahead and use them. I mean, whatever whatever little tricks or anything that people want to use, that's fine. That's um, like I said, over the years, people have found different glitches and things. I just don't use them. You know, um, I'm going to try to tell you as best I can remember, how all this goes. Um, the When you first go in, you can pick a difficulty between um, I think it's between normal and difficult. Normal makes the game playable. Difficult is if you're really wanting a challenge. It's a little bit, the games, the layout and things are not any different. It's just that the bosses take more hits, they do more damage, things of that nature, and it's kind of a thing. If you just want a challenge, or if you want to try to beat the game that way. Either way, um, the first robot master that I go after is Metal Man. Metal Man, you get the metal blade when you kill him, and the metal blade is useful against quite a few enemies that you can use it against. Um, we'll get into more on that a little bit later as we go through. Uh, the stage is not awfully hard. You need to collect, now I will say this, you need to collect E-tanks as much as you can, because you can only have up to 4 of them, but you will need them for the Wily Castle. So you need to try to keep picking those up as you see them. I will try to let you know if there's little tips and tricks in some of the stages. Most of them are just kind of lying around. You'll just have to do a little bit extra this or that to get them. So I'm not going to tell you where they're all at, but you'll just have to do a little bit of extra hunting, maybe with a weapon or something, or with one of the items to get them. That being said, you defeat Metal Man. Um, he's not very hard. The only thing that you got to watch out for is in the room when the screen flashes. The conveyor belt that you're standing on, it starts by going to the left of the screen. When the screen flashes, it goes to the right, and then whenever the screen flashes, it goes back to the left. When you're jumping, the best thing I can tell you to do is just jump and shoot. Just jump and shoot's the best thing. Now, after you kill him, you can either go after Bubble Man, Flash Man, or Woodman. Now, in my personal opinion, I go after Woodman next because, again, the stage is not too bad. It's not too hard. You go through it, and then you face Woodman. He's got the leaf shield. Whenever he throws one of the leaf shields, you just jump over it. There's 4 leaves that come down. Try to dodge them best you can, and just throw the blades at him. He dies. You get the leaf shield, and you're going to use that against Airman. Now, Airman stage is a little bit difficult the first times you go through it, but after you go through it a little bit and you get down the patterns and things of different things appearing and stuff, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. When you get in there to Airman, he'll throw out 3 groupings of air tornadoes. If you get lucky enough and you can jump over them, or you can kind of maneuver around them, start twirling up the leaf shield and throwing it at him. I think it's a couple of them will do it. I think it's like 3 or 4 will do it. And the best thing to do is, if he goes jumping across the room, you need to go across the room before he starts just hold them out, and just hold the direction of the way that he'll be blowing them back, usually this way. Hold the direction in the direction that he's at. That way you're still turned. Even if you get hit by one, you're still turned and you can still toss the leaf shield. Now, when you kill him, you'll get the little air shooter, and you'll get an item. More on these items later, because makes one of the stages a little bit easier. So what I would do next is I would go after Crash Man. His stage is, again, a little bit difficult, but after you go through it a few times, it's not too bad. Now, on Crash Man, you can use your regular gun, or you can use the air shooter. The air shooter shoots up and at an angle. It shoots 3 little tornadoes that go up and at an angle. When you jump, he shoots, and when he shoots, when you jump, he shoots, and when you shoot, he jumps, and he shoots these bombs that you should be able to just keep on running at him, and just shoot as you're going towards him, or just shoot as you're up in the air and jump towards him. He shouldn't be too hard to kill after you get the pattern down a little bit. Now, if I'm most people, or if I was anybody, I go to Bubble Man stage next. Now, the crash bombs are not for Bubble Man. They're not. You will use the blade against them, the metal blade. And what you're going to do is, this stage is not very hard. You got to watch these 2 lantern fish that have little lantern beams hanging off their head. You have to jump and shoot those while they're shooting out other little ones. The best thing to do is just to try to jump, shoot a few bullets at it, and try to shoot the other ones as they're popping out. Try to keep it, and you have to watch out on this stage, because a lot of times there's spikes in the water. So it takes a little bit of jumping and a little bit of finesse and everything to make sure you don't jump up and bust your head on them spikes, because the spikes are an instant kill. And it gets a little. You have to get used to it. When you go in to fight Bubble Man, he shoots a couple bubbles. He shoots bullets, and he just kind of goes from one part of the room to another part of the room, and he just kind of lands, just kind of does the same thing again. Best thing to do, pull the metal blades out. You can shoot them in 8 different directions. Just start hitting him with them. He'll go down. Now, I would take on Heat Man next. Now, this is the reason why I have you go this route. By the time you get to Heat Man, this can be a hard stage. There are disappearing and reappearing blocks in one part that you have to jump up and jump over these columns, and you have to shoot enemies that are coming out of the holes. That's a little bit of a problem. You have to get the timing down. Otherwise, you're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit a lot. But you have to keep trying to get the jumping down. And like I said, there's no time limit on any of these, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about the time limit. Get the stuff down and get it going. And that's about the easiest I can tell you. Now, when you get to this one section, there's going to be a lot of blocks that are going to start appearing and disappearing. Now, you got 1 of 2 options. You can do this the hard way, or you can do it the easy way. The hard way is going across this whole long area with disappearing and reappearing blocks where you fall, you die. Or you can use item number 2, wait until one of the blocks, go to the edge of the lava, wait until one of the blocks that's near there goes, and then use the item number 2, which is like a jet, jump on it and just let it ride all the way to the end. That's the easiest way. You'll still have to deal with some blocks at the end, but they're not as bad as that one set where it's instant death. Now, if you want a challenge, be my guest, go ahead. I've done it before. It's not fun, and it's kind of annoying, but you have to do it. When you get to Heat Man, he usually throws out 3 fire things that land. Dodge those as best as you can. You can't hit him whenever that happens. You also can't hit him when he closes down. And he'll close down. He'll shoot across the room about where you're standing, and then he'll pop back up. The best thing to do is just to try to hit him a few times when he pops up, and just try to dodge him best as you can. He doesn't take too many, and then he's dead. So that leaves you with Flash Man and Quick Man. Flash Man would be the one that I go after next. This stage is incredibly annoying. I don't think I'll go as far as to say frustrating, but it is annoying. This stage, when you're running, it takes a minute for you to stop if you try to go the opposite way. So it's kind of like a slippery floor. So you have to be very, very careful of that. If you can get down to this one area, you need to hang to the right so that you'll be on the top tier instead of the bottom tier. If you're on the bottom tier, there's a lot of mechanical, there's a lot of big mechanical enemies, and you have to shoot down you have to shoot at them to get the guy to fall out of the machine, and then you'll have to kill him too. And if you go back just a couple of feet, they respawn. So you don't want to get into that. So the best thing is try to get on the top level and try to go all the way across on top level until you get to the boss. Now the boss can be frustrating. The best thing I've found to use against this guy is the metal blade, of course, and it's not too bad when you use the metal blade on him. He doesn't take a lot of hits, but he will shoot the gun and try to freeze you, and then he gets free hits and he's run around the room. So the less time you have to fight him, the better off you'll be. Now we're going to go to, and this is why I left this one for last. You're going to go to Quick Man stage. This is easily one of the most frustrating stages in the game. It's one of the shortest, but it's one of the most frustrating. For a new player to an intermediate player, it is frustrating. From an intermediate to kind of expert player, or somebody that's been through it a few times, you can usually just kind of get down through there. But I'm going to tell you about how to do it, and then that way it'll make it a little bit easier for those who are just trying. There are beams in this stage that are instant kill. They hit you, you die. The best thing to do probably is to, the first couple of screens, just kind of fall to the right, to the left, just kind of alternate. You can usually get around the beams, and it's really no problem. Now, here comes this you'll fall down a long chute. These beams are coming. They're coming fast. There's 2 ways to do this. Either one, you can use the flash stopper, which stops the beams, but you have to get the big batteries all the way down for it to last all the way down the chute. And then what's bad is you get to Quick Man, and I'll explain that here in a minute, and it's bad not to have that flash stopper. Now, here's the other deal. I'm going to tell you which way to go. When you go down your first screen, you're going to drop down and scoop down to the left. Stay to the left, and then finally start kind of heading to the right. About 2 or 3 more screens down, you're just going to head to the right. I think it's to the right. I think it's left first and then to the right. And then back over to the left, and then you should be good. If you find that to the right is easier, do it to the right. Do whatever you need to do to not use that flash stopper down through there. Try to get that pattern down so that you do not have to use that flash stopper. Now, once you get to Quick Man, he's fast. He throws out boomerangs. He shoots. This dude's fast. He's erratic. He goes all around the room. A lot of people say use crash bombs. He's hard to hit with crash bombs. He's really hard to hit with crash bombs because he goes all over the room. Some other people say use air shooter. That works too if you can nail it. If you can get him with it, yeah, it works. I like to get down to the bottom, and when the match starts, I like to use the flash stopper. That takes off half of his life bar. Then I like to try to use the air shooter. Usually the combination of the two does really well, and it defeats him. So then you go to Wily's castle. Wily does his normal taunt. I'm going to add something in here. When you go through, when you defeat Woodman, or no, not Woodman, I'm sorry. When you defeat Airman, Flashman, and Heatman, you get items. Item 1 is a little platform. You can throw out up to 3 of them. Item 2 is a jet. And item 3 is a wall climber. So, and you'll need all of them, regardless. So, you go to the first stage of Dr. Wily's castle. It is tough the first time through. You do have to use the wall climber in one part. Well, I would advise you use the wall climber and shoot it to where it goes a little ways up, but high enough that you can jump on it and then jump onto the ladder, grab the ladder. There's another part where you'll be up on top of a ladder, and there's another ladder over to your left, and all that's there is air. You can try to use the jet on this part, but you'd have to jump to wherever you could, use it, and hope that you could reach the thing. The best thing to do is to stand with 1 foot off of the ladder, 1 foot still on. Use a number 1. Try to get as far over on that first one as you can before you pop the next one and pop the third one, and you should be on a ladder. It may take some practice to do that, but it can be done. It can be done, and after you get it a couple times, it's easier. You get up to the top, and the best thing to do, and this is the best thing I found to do, is you start jumping across these blocks. Don't even worry when the dragon comes up. Just keep jumping and keep doing it at the pace you're doing it. You'll be fine until you make it. And then there's 3 blocks at the end. There's a high block, a middle block, and a low block. Now, this dragon's the boss. He shoots out fireballs, and the game has a little bit of trouble processing this because just the frame rate on the screen. You can kill him with your regular gun. That's usually what I do. Some people like to use the quick boomerangs that you got from Quick Man. That's another option. You can use that. It's fine. You can use that. Now, in the second stage, you might as well just run down to the bottom right until you get to the spikes. Drop your little jet before the enemies can hit you. Ride the jet. Ride it past the first ladder to the second ladder. Because when you get to that second ladder and you drop down, there's going to be like 1-ups and batteries to refill your weapons and different stuff like that as you go on down through there. That's where you're going to get your stuff back that you maybe lost beforehand. If you still got it, you're good. But if you don't have it, that's where you get it. You'll drop down a couple of times. You'll have to figure out where the spikes are and where the platforms are, because I think you just fall and you try to fall into the hole and try to just kind of go left or right just a little bit to land on the platform. When you finally drop into the room, there's a wall that surrounds you. It's purple. This enemy comes out in different parts of the wall. best thing to use for me in this is just your regular gun. They do get faster as they go along, but it's not entirely impossible to shoot. I think the first two come across the top, the middle, the bottom. Now I think the two on the one from top and one from bottom on the right hand side, and then one from the left hand side, I believe. And then there's maybe one or two that come from different blocks on the other sides. But that's all I do is I just shoot them. The third stage is not. You just have to watch spikes. Just watch where the spikes are. Just go through the stage. It's not a long stage. You'll face the guts dozers, the balls. Again, you can use the quick boomerangs if you want. I use my regular gun again, and either way, just get on the front end of the machine and just jump up and hit him in the little jewel in his forehead there, or a little thing in his forehead. Just jump up and just wail on him. He's not that hard. The fourth stage. Oh man, this is the bane of most players' existence. This is the one stage that if you can beat the boss of this stage, you can beat the rest of the game. That's how bad this is. The fourth stage, you go up a couple of levels. There's a couple of false floors going across. I usually just jump like crazy and just try to make the big jumps and get to ladders. Now when you come down on the other side, you'll come down and there will be three parts where you have to ride the little conveyor belts as they go along, and little things are coming out of the wall. Try to come up with your own assumption. I know people do different things. I'm able to jump onto a few of them a little bit later on than what they are. You'll come down to one where you'll actually probably have to use item 1 or item 2 just to go across. Once you get down there, you're going to face the boss, and this boss takes, I believe you have 7 total crash bombs. This boss will take every crash bomb that you have. There's 2 ways of doing this. There's 2 ways of doing it. I've seen 2 ways. 2 ways. The first way is, and this is what a lot of people have been doing, but I think this is the cheap way. They go in the first time to fight the boss. They blow open all the doors, and then they go back through the entire stage, refill the crash bombs, and then they go after the little, there's these little nodes that are on the wall that shoot at different intervals at different times. They just all shoot at one point. Here's how I do it. And you have enough crash bombs to do it this way. This is the way I do it, and I usually only have to use 1 or 2 E-tanks, maybe if that. And I'm usually still pretty good by the time I get to Wily. Here's what I do. I start on the bottom door, shoot the bottom door open, and I shoot the one in there. Then I climb up, and I shoot the one that's on the wall. I drop down, I shoot the one that's behind that wall, and I use item 3 to get back up. Now that leaves me with 2 more, and only one of them, wait a minute, that's 3, 4. I have usually 1 crash bomb left over. You can use item 1 and just get up into the nook, shoot across to the first one, use item 1 again, get up into the other nook, shoot across. You may have to blow open that door on that top one. I don't really remember, but you may have to blow open that door on that top one. And that's the way to do it. You'll either have 1 crash bomb left or you'll have none left, but the boss will be dead. And you have only used maybe 1 or 2 E-tanks at that point. So, you go, you face all 8 Robot Masters again. And this is what's so strange about this. You can use the Metal Blade. If you use it on Metal Man, who you got it from, you hit him twice with it, he dies. He's weak to his own weapon. So basically what I did is whenever I saw Metal Man, whenever I saw Flash Man, Whenever I saw Bubble Man and whenever I saw Woodman, I used the metal blade on all four of them. Quick Man, use the time stopper again, and then use the air shooter. The air shooter you're gonna have to use against Crash Man as well. You can take him out with your gun if you're good enough to have the pattern down. Airman you take down with the leaf shield, and Heat Man you take down with the bubbles. And I think that's everybody. Yeah. I'll have to get back to you guys on. I'll have to type it in after the video post and everything on what the other Wily machine is, because I don't really remember. I think you can use the fire on it. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up and see exactly what it is to remember what it is. But I'll add that in on the explanation so you can so I can tell you what to do on that one. The last part of the stage you'll go through an area that you'll get a bunch of power-ups at the beginning, and then you need to have the full bubble lead is what you need to have. Full bubble lead. No other weapon will hurt this thing. You need full bubble lead. And what you need to do is you'll go through a little section that will have, it looks like blood dripping. I'm not exactly sure if it's blood, if it's oil. I don't know what it is. It looks like pink droplets. Don't let any of them hit you. Just don't let any of them hit you. Now when you face Wily this time, he'll fly up out of a capsule. When he flies up out of this capsule, he turns into a alien. He goes in a figure 8 pattern. He goes up and around and around and then down and then back and up. He shoots at about the same time every time. So what you need to do is just get into that pattern of what he's doing, and every time that you get a free shot, hit him with that bubble lead. The best thing I've seen to do, it takes a little bit of time, but it's well worth it at the end, is when he's crossing back over like this, jump up in midair where he's at. Don't let him hit you, but jump up in midair and let go of the bubble lead and let the bubble lead hit him, and then just dodge him. If it's been a couple of seconds since he's shot, don't go for it, because he'll probably end up shooting you. So don't go for that. Instead, if he just like shot, or if you know it's going to be a couple minutes before he shoots again, do it then. Do it then, because that's going to be where the opening's at. That's what you need to do. So, but like I said, we'll get this other one. The other boss. We'll put it in the description. We'll get it posted, because I can't for the life of me remember what it is right now. I should know this, but I don't, because I think I just blow right by it. Another neat little trick is if you hold down the fire button. Now this consumes more of your firepower, but if you hold down the button when you have the fire ability, when you have the heat ability, he'll glow, and he'll glow different colors. He'll go from light white to like a teal kind of greenish outline to another like black and white outline. When he's on the black and white outline, it's going to be the hardest shot. It's going to be the biggest shot, but it's going to take the most out of your shot. But it's going to be better than what it was. So be wary of that. Like I said, if I tell you on that one to use that power, you can. Another little thing to note is Flashman can also be beaten with the bubble lead. I just feel the metal blades are a little bit easier to use on him. So that's what I use on him. Like I said, there are other people, you can probably watch videos and stuff of people that work out glitches and things like that. But this is how I do it. And I try not to use glitches or anything like that, because I just kind of feel that I don't really feel that they cheapen the game, but it kind of makes it a little less hard in some instances, but I've just done it the same way for so long that I just carry right along with it. Like I said, video will accompany this. It'll be with this. If you have any questions on anything or need to know anything, why did we do this? Why did we do that? You know, drop us a comment. Be more glad to explain to you or try to explain to you anything that we can come up with. And like I said, I'll get that other part up with the videos. That way you'll know how to kill the next to last boss, which is a Wily machine. Now, next time, we'll be going over Mega Man 3, which is my favorite of the series. It will be a little bit of a longer video because the game is quite a bit longer than the first two. On the third one, it kind of, the third on up to the sixth are kind of about the same on stages and things of that nature. So we'll go over that and be a little bit more prepared, maybe not forget the enemy. I need to kind of write these things down because my memory, if I don't play the game for a while, my memory kind of leaves me, or I get confused because I'll have all kinds of different other games going. I did Killer Instinct for Friday Night Fisticuffs. I was thinking of doing I had thought of Mortal Kombat 1 and maybe Street Fighter 2, maybe one of those. I'm also thinking of doing Sonic Blast Man off the SNES, or maybe just going through and just seeing what all beat 'em ups are on what systems, and just kind of going from there, or something that we would refer to more as a beat 'em up or an action adventure as a game to do the Friday Night Fisticuffs. So we'll have to see how that goes. We'll try to come up with something different every week on that. The only reason I say Mortal Kombat 1, I can't beat number 2. Never have been able to. Number 3, I can beat it if I get lucky. I've been able to beat it a few times, but it's very, very difficult, and it's very aggravating. And I don't know if anybody caught it on and I'm not making excuses last night, but I did the Killer Instinct one on Friday night, which was last night. And boy, I'm glad I only put it on about 2 difficulty, because I really struggled with the controller. I know it doesn't look like it in the playthrough, but I really struggled with the controller, and I was really wanting to show you guys something really neat last night. I didn't get the chance to because I couldn't get the controller to pull it off. I was going to use Orchid, and I was going to get a 30 to 40 hit combo of an Ultra combo, and also like a 20 hit killer combo, but I couldn't get it. I was in practice mode trying to get it to show you guys that it could be done, but I couldn't get the controller to work quite right. I know there was a couple times, and I used the same combo a bunch of times, but what you got to realize is on that controller, it wanted to jump, it wanted to duck, it just wanted to do whatever it wanted to do and not what I wanted it to do. And I was able to go through the game and beat it and not lose a fight, which was kind of surprising and kind of shocking. But at the same time, I'm glad that I was able to get through it to at least get that far. I didn't do it on high enough difficulty to show an ending because, like I said, the controller does not allow me really to do my moves. I don't know if I'll do Killer Instinct Gold because I think I would have to do it on the Xbox, and the Xbox is kind of the same way. They want you to use the stick instead of the pad, and when you use the pad doesn't quite work um, as good, and I don't like to use the stick unless I'm at an arcade. So um, it really, we may be able to get Jim down here and restream some of these things, because I think Jim has the big joystick and big button controllers like you would have at the arcade. And if he does, we'll try to get those down here. We'll try to get those done. Maybe we can do some pretty good streams of different fighting games that way. Maybe we can do it that way. We'll have to see. That's all for now. Like I said, Mega Man 3 will be next. I don't know when it'll be, but it'll be next. And everybody stay safe until then, and we'll see you then.